I just want to bring this for you out for this is courtesy to the audience out there who's watching. Let you know that lots of people are engaged in revolution. We're here with the Solnit family, which is one of the foremost activists here in the country that are making things happen and making a change in the world. And I've known David for since 1983, so that's 30 years now that we've been associated with each other. And we're also going to have Jim Squatter, who's also a prominent organizer here in the Bay Area.
Liberty Sons says, hey, Liberty Sons is watching us on both channels, which is cool. Hi, Liberty Sons.
Yeah, cool. Yeah. Hey, hi out there, James, man. Hey, dude, we got equipment for you. If you just get a hold of us, we're going to have some Hackintosh boxes, and we're going to make it happen. We're using your living room for a live stream. So. Okay, we're going to get Dave in here and have him talk about some stuff. That was the hostess of the party, and she's a lovely lady. We can't really tell you where we're at right now, just to say that we're in Berkeley, California, because this is private residence. And we're going to bring a nice little live stream. We're going to talk about the year was 1985. And we were young activists, and we were involved in something called Campaign Against Apartheid, and which is when we were working with South African activists in creating a concept, a way of dealing with the fascist regime in South Africa, and we were able to come up with we were able to come up with a really good strategy called divestment. And we worked with students at Brown University and at University of California here in Berkeley, and we started a campaign of divestment against the university. We wanted them to withdraw over the $6 billion that they had invested in actual South African oppression, and that's what we're here to talk about tonight. So stay tuned. I got Human here who's with us.
Hey, how you doing, guys?
And we're at Freeman Sullivan and at Being Eco. We're on Ustream. Do retweet out our tweets and help us.
Hey, what's up, D? We got D in the house.
Okay, D's in the house. He's ready to go. Hi, D. Anyway, we're going to get together here, D. I'm just trying to build up a little bit of an audience here. It takes about 20 minutes. And Dave is we've got the Brass Liberation Orchestra outside, and there's it's his birthday, but we're going to pull him into the room here in a minute and do a 20-minute show. Hey, Amy!
How are you?
Oh, it's so good to see you, sweetie.
It's good to see you.
Hey,
We were protesting outside.
Okay, yeah, I saw that. We're on a live stream right now if you want to join us.
No.
Okay. We have an activist, another activist, and it's really good to see her. Right? She's a little shy. She doesn't want to go on camera.
That's how it is. When activists have a party, they're not really trying to be live streamed. They're like, hey, it's our private time. Oh my God.
Well, we have to get.
When does the struggle end?
Yeah, well, it never ends, right? You have to. That's the thing about revolutions. Everybody thinks that once we overthrow the government, that's going to be the end of the revolution. Well, that's not. That's a misconception, because revolution never ends, and you have to totally always be aware. It's like evolution never ends. You're always constantly evolving and being a better person and whatnot, and it's a conscious process. So. Let me go get another one of those lovely glasses of cider, and I'll be right back. And just to give everybody the heads up on what's going on, and so we can get a nice little audience built up, so when we do get Dave in here, that we'll actually have somebody watching. So let me go get a thing of apple cider, and I'll be right back.
Yeah, try to drag those guys in there. See if we can
get some more people to talk on the live stream.
Yeah, in the meantime, welcome to D, and hopefully we'll get Patty here in a minute.
Tell them about Activist Stream, and tell them about what we're doing. Here in the future, that we're going down to Los Angeles, and that we're going to be setting up more media comms teams. Get into the Hackintosh thing.
Sure, Patty's here. Patty says that
Hi.
you're being retweeted live on Global Rev. So again, there's a bunch of people coming, guys. I'll try to hide them for now. So as you can see, it's sort of in the middle of a party. Everyone's getting excited behind me. I'm trying not to ruin the fun too much. And in a little bit we'll get to hear some of these old school activists talk about their experiences as part of the anti-apartheid movement of the 80s. That's sort of what we're gearing up for right now. In the meantime, everyone's enjoying the party, except for me. I'm strictly about the business tonight, here to make sure that the live stream stays active and that you guys are still engaged. And as you can see, it's a little tough for me. I've got my stream down there. There's the other camera, so we got two different cameras, and I'm trying to read the comments on both of them at the same time, but that's a little difficult. So if I don't check it right away, I'm sorry, but please, feel free to let us know what's going on out there on the internet with your own thoughts and feelings about what we're gonna do. Oh, hey, how you doing? I believe this is Charlie, so we're live. Clark went to go get another cup of cider. He left me in charge of the
Okay,
stream.
it looked like much of the stream here.
No, I got both the cameras are running, and like what we're doing now is just hoping to build up our audience a little bit. Like it takes time for people to know that we're streaming and be like, okay, they're coming on. Right now, I got some viewers on his channel, some viewers on my channel. We're also being re-streamed via Global Revolution, and probably we'll get the UK channel following us hopefully in a little bit too. And like so that'll add up to our viewers. And then what we do is we like send it out. We do like mass tweets via like several different Twitter handles that are all networked together, and that allows us to like send out tweets to a bunch of people to let them know what we're doing, and then they can come in and watch. So hopefully when everybody gets here, we'll start tweeting out to everyone and say, hey, this is like a live chat that we're having. We'll get people from around the world to like come in and join us and talk with us.
And can I interact with you on the?
Yeah, please. Yeah, feel free. Say hello. Yeah, you're live on the internet right now.
Hey, hello, everybody.
Right. So Occupy Toronto is also mirroring you right now. Something Sunday at Sunday 10 p.m. Passing the word shag. I don't know what that means. Liberty Sons, but anyway, Charlie, you want to say what you're up to here and what's going on?
Well, we're here for David Solnit's birthday party.
Right.
50th birthday party.
Yeah, which we've sort of
honoring the man who's been so active in the last 30 years.
Right.
And done so much seminal work.
Right. He's done a bunch of amazing things, including the anti-apartheid stuff back in the 80s, right? And then.
Right,
of course,
so
his
hopefully
ongoing
learn a
work.
little bit about what he did in South Africa.
Some of the
all the port occupation and shutting down. And,
it was kind of exciting. But of course, you've been active since the 80s, still to today, right? So again, I guess that's like 30 years, right? 30 years of activism.
Some people find their calling early, and some people come to it late.
Right on.
It just matters that you come to it.
Cool. How do you know Dave?
I know David through his sister.
Okay, nice.
Through Rebecca.
Right on. Do you also live in the Bay?
Marin.
Oh, nice. I like it up there. It's quiet, and it's not quite as rowdy as it is up in San Francisco and Berkeley and Oakland.
Well, the good thing is it's close to San Francisco.
Okay. Yeah. So it's close. You get all that right.
Open spaces, take a deep breath of air, and then go into San Francisco when you want action.
Sounds good.
Because it's not in Marin.
No, it's not. Yeah. Where in Marin do you live? What part? Like.
Mill Valley.
Okay, cool. That's nice. For those people who don't know, Mill Valley is sort of towards the coast,
just
right?
over the Golden Gate Bridge door.
Right. It's beautiful up there. If you've never been to that part of the world, like I would say, Marin is one of the most beautiful places in the state. Yeah. Definitely. It's if you're going to be in Northern California.
Heavily wooded.
Muir Woods,
beautiful
right?
Bays, redwoods. 10 minutes to San Francisco.
Over the Golden Gate Bridge, right?
Over the best commute in the world.
Yeah, so it's pretty cool, yeah. And again, like sort of a festive day today, so it's sort of we're not, I know not everybody's trying to be too political, like.
Well, today's a day for celebration.
Yeah, I mean,
celebrate a life.
That's right.
And with a life well lived for Mandela and
definitely.
A life well lived for Dave.
Yeah, which is kind of nice. I like the synchronicity that now, Mandela passes on. Dave's his 50th birthday tonight, right? So it's kind of like a milestone.
That's the question. How do you pass on?
Yeah.
Is that the mark of a great man? Is a man who changes thought and changes attitudes and leaves a legacy that carries on without him?
For sure. Yeah, and I don't think there's any question that Nelson Mandela's done that, and I don't really think there's any question Dave is going to do that either. I mean, he's already made such a difference in this community. People say Dave Solnit, and they're like, hey, for sure. And again, like, it takes so much courage for people to be able to stand up. It's like nice to have an example.
Right. Because that's people aren't willing to take.
Right. You got some kids. Yeah, this is what happens when you're live streaming at a party. The kids come in to play here. No problem. Let's get the nice camera out of the way. Yeah. Right. So.
And you look very on center stage now.
Yeah, that's great. So we got some kids hanging out here having some fun. Yep, spoke to Vlad. Yes, on my weekly channel. Okay, great. So we've got some information. 10 Eastern. Hey, and Clark's come back.
Man? We'll have some people coming in here in just a bit.
Yeah, we're being also restreated. Everybody's up, ready to go.
Okay. All right. Well, we're going to have some people come in and talk about some different things. That since we have all the organizers here in one spot, and so they can talk about what kind of things they're organizing and whatnot.
Says here, Freeman Solomon is my guest this Sunday. Hashtag D8 at 10 p.m. Eastern. Occupy Toronto live stream.
I'll be on the Occupy live stream Toronto. We're going to be talking about live streaming. I have a platform that I've developed, software that I'm going to be releasing in beta in January for all the live streamers out there. It'll end the tyranny of Ustream with no commercials. You'll have unlimited space, and it's a complete platform that I developed on Drupal. So that's very exciting because I want everybody to use it, and then we don't have to put up with commercials. And by the way, if you're watching this on a browser and you do get commercials, what we would like for you to do is install AdBlock Plus. Install it on your browser. It's
a browser add-on for Firefox and Chrome. Yeah.
And so that way you won't get any commercials.
Right. So Clark, I'm going to pass it back to you. You can read yours, and I'll read mine.
Alrighty.
Go back to the
Good.
2-camera feed.
Alrighty.
Right.
Because I don't want to walk around the party with the camera here.
Well, viewers reminds you not to go on a controversial rant.
I'm not going to. Yeah, we don't get serious. All right, just introduce yourself. You can have a seat here, and just introduce yourself and what you're doing.
Because I want to be out of the way.
All right, actually, it'd be better if you sat in that seat.
I think so.
Looks pretty. We got light behind you, so people can see what you look like. And
There we go.
anyways, and just tell people who you are and what you're doing here and whatnot.
Yeah, my name is Penny Opal Plant, and I'm here to celebrate the life of David Solnit, who, wildly enough, I only met this last year, even though we've both been activists since the 80s. And David helped our I Don't Know More affinity group make our 10-foot tall Mother Earth puppet. And he helped us make our I Don't Know More banners that have been kind of everywhere this year, and all the other banners that our affinity group carries around to every demonstration. And I cannot tell everybody how happy I am to be alive at the same time that David is alive.
He's truly a revolutionary kind of guy.
Yeah.
You know, he makes things happen.
Yep, he sure does, and he makes people happy while we're doing it. So that's quite a skill to have.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely. I've known Dave since 1983. So when you say just since the 80s, not that long, to me, that's a long time when you know somebody 30 years and you've been actively organized. So, you know, Dee Shanger, the producer of our live stream here, he's up in Toronto, and he's going to be coming up to New Brunswick to work with the Micmacs and a few other I Don't Know More folks up there to provide them with Hackintosh workstations and cameras and whatnot, so they can live stream the struggle up there in Canada. And we're going to be talking about some of the strategies that we're going to use to fight the RCMP.
Awesome.
And so, anyways, what are you doing here in the Bay Area? What are you currently organizing?
Well, currently I'm organizing my business because it's the holidays and I have a Native American gallery. So the month of December is kind of.
Okay, and where's your gallery?
What I do. It's Gathering Tribes over on Solano Avenue.
Okay.
But the last thing that I attended was Wednesday at the Air Quality Board meeting.
I heard something about that.
Yeah, it was really good. There were so many that like half of us could get into the building, to the meeting, and the security people were really nervous because they weren't used to dealing with such a big crowd. But it was good. It was covered by the news, and hopefully we'll be able to, you know, stop these big refinery projects along the East Bay coast from green and tar sands. I mean, it's pretty intense what they want to do. You know, it's just a big fight all over the world, but I think there's starting to be more folks of good hearts rising up. They realize what's at stake, you know, humanity's at stake.
I agree.
But I really love what Emma Goldman says, if I can't dance, I don't want to be part of your revolution. And I've always lived by that, and David totally embodies that, so that's what I love about him.
Yeah, we're going to drag him in here if we can here pretty soon.
Yeah.
You know, so we have. Last time I saw you, we were out in front of the that on Fifth and Market there. Remember?
Yeah. Oh, right, at the Federal Trade Commission.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was interesting because two attorneys who worked in that building came out and they kind of tried to convince me that the Federal Trade Ambassador had nothing to do with that building, that it's a federal building and it's the Federal Trade Commission building. So, but they did their best to try to tell us that we were in the wrong place. But we stayed.
But you don't want to tell people what that was about.
Yeah, so that Federal Trade lobbying the European Union to reduce their environmental laws in order to accept purchases of tar sands, and which is just completely illogical given the state of the world. But I don't know, those guys. I just read a quote by a native elder the other day, a woman who said that some people are suffering from greed to such a high extent that it's going to destroy the world. But actually, I don't believe anything can destroy the world. She'll be fine. I always try to correct people when they tell me we have to save Mother Earth. She's been through everything. She'll be fine without us.
But life on Mother Earth
Yeah.
is...
Our lifeboat is heading off the cliff, so we gotta do everything we can. Yeah. Well, I think I've been telling people, since I have this retail place, I'm talking to people about what's going on, trying to be conscious about where they are in their own process of understanding. But if I see that they have a pretty good understanding, then I tell them that we only have 5 to 10 years to turn the lifeboat around. Otherwise, it's going to be a huge catastrophe. And as a grandmother, that's really a big concern for me. All the children in the world and those yet to come. So, I also have a strong feeling that people that are older should be the ones on the front lines. I'm really happy to see all the youth coming out, because during the beginning of the wars, well, from the Gulf War onward, there was hardly any youth. My husband really noticed it. He goes, "Where's all the kids? There's no kids here." It was like all of us from the 1980s that were doing all the protesting, 60s, 70s, and 80s, and where's all the kids? And now the kids are coming out of the woodwork. In this area, at least in the San Francisco Bay Area, there's a lot of teachers that teach about ecology and the environment and climate chaos, and so they're growing up with an understanding at stake. And there's some little people here right now.
I know we got little people here. Yeah, we're trying to make our planet better for all these youngsters that are coming up. Right? Yeah. So it's all great. We're out here at the wonderful party, and why don't you go see if you can find Jim to come in, right? And get him to talk. Because my time is limited here.
Yeah.
I'm getting myself. We're working on setting up global comms, communication teams.
Awesome.
And we're going to be hitting the road pretty soon. And we're going to go around to a bunch of different cities and give demonstrations. And what's nice about what we're doing is that we're not just getting people involved in activism, but we have business models that people can follow to generate income to help them make their activism go even farther. And there's a concept we got that we've been working on called the Hackintosh, and it's a way of taking second generation computers that are like that, and then putting like new CPUs on them and overclocking the BIOS, and so they work better than new machines. But when people buy one of our machines, they just don't get a machine. They get a dual boot, secure operating system where the NSA can't break into your computer, and then also you're also going to have access to a worldwide network of servers operated around the planet that you can hook into in the cloud, and that will also make the processing power of your computer work even more for you on top of that.
And so you're going to be selling those?
Yeah, we'll be selling those. Depending on how much we pay for the original box, we'll be able to make that available between $250 and $350 for a fully configured laptop with video editing capabilities, all the software that you could possibly ever want, and the expertise to back it up, so when you need to call somebody up on the phone and you need help, well, then you can get somebody to help you in the box, right? And this is a really good tool for activists that we think, and we've been working on this for a while now. And I just recently had my friend Vlad come here from New York to explain further and to help my morale and get me going, because I'm going to be going there too. So we're engaged in a worldwide battle for revolution, 24/7. It seems to be going on all day now. In every country of the world, there's people struggling against the government actively. Ukraine today was very, they're actually openly have people out in the streets demonstrating in Kiev against the government. Greece today, we found out, which was really upsetting, is that the police are hunting down anarchist activists and either putting them in jail or killing them, or there's an outright campaign of repression that's going on in Greece right now. And we thought that because the Golden Dawn, the leader of Golden Dawn was arrested a couple of weeks ago for murder, for murdering activists. And we thought maybe since the Greek government was actually going after Golden Dawn, maybe there might be an end to some of this oppression that's going on. And that in Thessalonica, Greece today, police were firing tear gas canisters directly at protesters
right? And much the same struggle that we've had here in the East Bay with the Oakland PD. So, I'd just like to give a shout out to all of our Greek comrades is that we're here for you, and we'll do the best to get your message out there. And what's really nice now is that we're able to work with large groups of people all around the world, and that's our power even stronger.
Absolutely.
Right? And we're not trying to take over. When I do this stuff, like a lot of people think, well, I'm Mr. Ego, but like when I do this stuff, it's not about me, but I'm going to do everything to make stuff possible.
Yeah.
Right? And like I always think of other people before myself, try to. So that's for all you people that have been needling me about my rants online, right? Because it's never about me. But anyway.
So Clark, can I ask you a question
sure.
about the computers?
Yes.
So is it only Apple computers
No,
or
no, no.
PCs?
We buy
Or?
PCs, and because you can install Apple operating system on a PC, right? It's just the software, right? And personally, even though Mac has superior hardware, right, and they're very well thought out, people can't afford to spend $3,000 for a laptop. Most activist people I know of can't. And also what's really nice is that we can show people a simple way to build these machines themselves, right? Because it doesn't require a great, like everybody thinks because you're working with computers, that it requires this great technical expertise. Because it doesn't. All you have to do is pop the CPU and put another one back in, right? It's easier than changing the oil in your car, right? So, we're trying to demystify some of that stuff. And we're getting ready to have Jim join the live stream.
Right on. Swap places with you.
Right. And thanks a lot for talking. How do we find you on the web? Before you leave, how do we find you on the web?
Oh, gatheringtribes.com, Facebook Gathering Tribes. That's it.
Okay, thanks a lot.
My email is penny@gatheringtribes.com.
Right, and she's organizing around Idle No More here in the Bay Area.
Right, fossil fuels, climate sanity, and the Declaration on the Rights of Mother Earth.
Okay, thanks a lot.
Which you can find online. Very important paradigm-shifting document that everybody in the world should read and sign on to.
Great, thanks a lot.
Thanks, Clark.
You're welcome. All right, so have a seat. Well, we want to talk about what happened in Oakland, dude. You can sit anywhere you want.
What happened in Oakland?
I mean, with campaign against apartheid, that's why we're here. Right. That's why I'm doing the live stream. Right, because I want to go out and talk to people in the party here. And, no, Dave said asked me not to. Right. Yeah, no, I'm not going to like live stream a party. Huh?
You could turn the live stream off and go to the...
Well, I'm going to do that, but I want to have the little talk here. I said it's only going to be a half an hour, and this is going out to a worldwide audience and everything. And we just want to. Jim and I have been comrades for a long time, and we were part of a thing called Campaign Against Apartheid during the middle '80s, and we were at the University of California, and we were working with Brown University, and came up with a concept called divestment. All right, you want to tell people a little bit about what divestment is?
Sure. Here's the part that probably nobody knows that is really interesting about that campaign. There were a couple of brothers, and since I haven't spoken with them, I'm not going to use their names. But you know who one of them was, Billy.
Right.
So obviously he was supposed to Billy and his brother. One was going to college at UC Berkeley, and the other brother was going to college at Columbia in New York. And they agreed in the summer of 1984 to work on the anti-apartheid issues, South Africa issues, for that whole year, 84 to 85. In the spring of 85, they were going to do something. They'd agreed, and I think they may have even agreed to take over the administration building, so the two universities. And so I remember the first night that it was Billy, and there were about, well, it started out, there was probably the little rallyette that we had, it was maybe, 25 people at the most, but it started out that there were going to be 12 of us spending the night, and it got down to 8 of us. And that was the first night. Meanwhile, at Columbia University, 400 or more students took over the administration building. And it was like, okay. But what was cool is it wasn't, we didn't have the kind of digital communication. So information moved slower. You know, it took phone calls and a while, but the media picked up on that it had been at Berkeley and Columbia, and they started to talk about it when really we were less than a dozen people made it through the night all the way in Berkeley. But Billy and I and a couple of us were organized, and we just kept calling all of our friends, you know, and the next night it was maybe 20 people that spent the night and just kept growing, and by the end of like 10 days it was, you know, a couple hundred people. And the other thing was, this is the very first computer-aided movement. This is DARPA when they have what is about to become the internet. And they've connected up the Ivy League schools and the UC schools with it. And the students, for the very first time, have access through the student government. It was the only way you could get through is through ASA. It was very rare to have a connection. But we contacted all the student governments and spread the word, occupy your schools, divestment. We didn't call it occupy.
Right.
They were sit-ins back then.
Yeah, right, right.
We were having a sit-in that went on for months. And so they were able to, UC schools were able to contact the Ivy League schools, they found out, and back and forth. And so the Ivy League schools did the same thing and said, have a sit-in at every campus in Ivy League. Because this happened so quickly, by the standards of the old analog world, the media, they didn't have access to computers. They thought it was a new, massive national student organization. They just didn't know the name of it. And the media, much like Occupy, helped whip it, because it over-covered it, sort of, that helped spread it to virtually every campus in this country. And so that was pretty interesting. And the coalition of people that came together was very interesting too. It was some students, some squatters from San Francisco. It's funny how many squatters were there. But that's because that was my outreach, you know, that was my community. I outreached with it. And the students, they were probably only half of the movement in the beginning. And then finally, once it had been built up, then the student crush, I think, really came on. And the student government got involved, and paid the Naldera and all those fights. But yeah, it was an amazing movement.
It was, and that kind of morphed into the campaign against apartheid.
Well, the campaign against apartheid was started by Billy in that.
Yeah, I remember him trying to convince me I needed to be a part of the group.
Yeah,
right?
He used to sit on the table on the plaza every day, and he was dedicated to it, to doing it. If it hadn't been for Billy, it wouldn't have happened, I don't think. And then there were so many players that came in, and the other thing I remember is shutting down the university, shutting it down cold.
How did we do that?
It was an alliance. There was a ship from South Africa that came in, and the longshoremen refused to unload it.
And they had already been involved with unloading, not unloading cargo, and they had a federal injunction against them.
Yeah, something like that. And so they couldn't strike. They had a corridor. They couldn't strike. But they had in their clause that if there was urban unrest or at least unsafe conditions, they didn't have to cross. So we went down, our motley crew, and we created a disturbance with the police. And so then they said, hey, we can't, there's police down there, it's a riot.
Right, so they couldn't unload the ship because it created a hazardous condition.
Right, yeah, and so they didn't cross the picket line, so we gave them an excuse. So then in exchange, they got in touch with the unions. This is what the Teamsters were starting about. There's a shipping and receiving warehouse that is where all the stuff from UC Berkeley comes in, and that's where they handle it, sort it, and then send it out to the university. Everything except for like perishables. It goes straight through, but everything else. And so we set up a picket line with the ILWU, and Teamsters were across, and then nobody would cross. When the Union side wouldn't cross, that was it. That closed the warehouse down. So they couldn't get a light bulb or a roll of toilet paper in D.C. They went on for weeks. They were really having serious problems about really getting toilet paper, light bulbs, and just basic materials.
How about the shanty town?
That was the next year. What happened that year is it wasn't that big. It was still only a few hundred kids, like maybe 400 people a night staying there. But they decided to clear the plaza in the middle of the night, and so a bunch of us, we decided, fuck it, we're not leaving. And they arrested about 140 of us. And about 40 of us, like they were doing this in the middle of the night, we decided, no, we're going to resist these arrests and all locked down to each other. This is the beginning of serious resistance. Locked down and made it really hard for them to remove us one by one. And that delayed the last arrest until about 7 in the morning when the first students were coming and then they saw it. And so I don't totally know what happened next because I was in jail at that point. But the next thing I know, I've been banned from the campus. That these students come out and collect all this band, like 1,000, 2,000 students come off campus and circle about, 150 of us, bring us on campus, and then there's a crowd that it's like 35,000 people. You couldn't put them, people are in the trees, they're on the roofs, they're hanging everywhere. And at that point, the university is shut down. The strike has begun, and the strike stayed on basically until finals. And the classes were happening off campus, off campus classes, and it culminated in a meeting. We had a meeting with the administration because they recognized that it was, they didn't have control of campus or anymore. I would say probably 60 or 70% of classes were canceled on a daily basis, and I would say 30% of the staff were also participating in the strike, so they weren't able to get much done. Even internal paperwork was becoming a problem. So we met in the basketball stadium. This is how you know your movement is taken off. The basketball stadium is so full, the fire marshal says, that's it, nobody else can come in. It's over full, and that's so you can sit down and have a meeting. And 9,000 people show up to a meeting, the movement has wheels. And so we met, and they kind of outsmarted us, and we got the strike broken for the summer. And then we came back in the fall, and the movement started building right away again. And they hadn't divested. And they'd had a meeting. That was the first year. Yeah, they had a meeting of the regents that was up at the Lawrence Hall Science up on the hill. And the governor had to get away by helicopter, and the students were hanging on the struts of his helicopter when it first started to rise, trying to hold it down. That was pretty intense action, that one too. And then next year the movement built, and the shanty towns were the culmination.
Tell people a little about what the shanty towns are about.
Yeah, what the shanties were a recreation as much as possible of the shanty towns in like Soweto and the ghettos, and black ghettos of South Africa. And so people built shanties and started staying in them. And that tactic spread to campuses all over the country as well.
So they can't do anything.
Yeah, we're going to have to move it a little closer, I think.
Oh, it's okay.
Don't worry about it.
So I had left in the summer because I wanted to spread this noise. I went to Cornell University, where I went to Brown first, and I went to Cornell University and helped shut down Cornell. We took over their administration building there. And um, I then came back to the Bay Area, and that was the winter, and this shantytown was going on at UC Berkeley. It was just beginning. And I left at that point. That was when people were beaten at Saffler Gate, and
Yeah, I was there. I remember.
Wavy Gravy laid down in front of the police bus. And, so you'll have to tell that story. Let me turn the camera around.
Yeah, you want to grab the camera here and turn it around?
Yeah. All right.
Yeah, what I really wanted to talk about in specific, because this was the one of the things is that we were working with International Longshoremen's Union and with the ship, and they had a Dutch ship that was scheduled to come in with South African cargo on it. And this is in the spring of 1986, I believe. I think it was 1986. Pretty sure that it was.
Ship was 85.
Maybe it was 85.
Yeah.
But we had a demonstration organized. I remember going over. We had a school bus. Right, there was about maybe 300 of us.
Yeah.
And what we did was to create a hazardous condition was to take a 2x4 and then put a sign on it, and then march around in a circle in front of the gate. And I guess we'd been there for about an hour before the police finally showed up. But there were like lots of truckers that were really pissed because they weren't allowed to get on the ship to get the cargo off the ship, and they wanted to get out of there. And I remember one guy in particular. I don't know. He was pretty much a non-union trucker. And he wanted to drive through the gate and get beyond us. And what happened was that we surrounded his truck with about 20 or 30 people, maybe more, and we were able to push his truck backwards when he was gunning it. You're talking about like 20 or 30 people like using their power to push a whole tractor trailer backwards, right? It was empty, but we still were able to push that cab backwards. And then when he put the brake on, that's when we started bouncing his head off the top of the thing. Well, there was this is when the police finally arrived. I guess it was about the second hour of the action. A gentleman named Michael Donnelly. They grabbed him because he was one of the more like physically stout ringleaders of what was going on, and he was a pretty big guy. And they tried to like get him into the back of the paddy wagon, and he was not going in the back of the paddy wagon. And then my particular thing was I saw him beating him in the back of the head with the nightstick. And I'm not going to let that happen to any of my comrades. So I grabbed the nightstick from the lady cop and threw it on the ground and then disappeared back into the crowd again. So they finally got him into the back of the paddy wagon. And like they finally got me because I was flattening the tires on one of the tractor trailers that were trying to drive through our picket line. Because we're talking about a pitched battle here, folks. It was not a pretty thing. And for all you nonviolence activists out there, you got to remember this was the 80s and we hadn't really come down with the policy of nonviolent activism yet. So, and our policy basically was that the police were going to escalate the violence, but then we were willing to escalate the violence with them too. But at any rate, they grabbed myself and Michael, and they had us both in the back of the paddy wagon. And I get down to the Potrero station there on 3rd Street. This is like a long time ago. And then they take us down to 850, and I find out I'm being charged with inciting to riot, resisting arrest, assault on a police officer, and lynching, which is trying to free somebody who's in custody. And so I get booked. We get up to the 850 in San Francisco, and I managed to get all the other prisoners in jail there to watch the news. And I said, dudes, I'm going to be on the news here in a second, right? And I said, we're here about South Africa. And most of the men there were African American, so they were into it. So I got the chance to see on my news, see myself on the news, and then they served us chow. And then the next thing I know, they're calling my name, and they released me, and they dropped all the charges. Because the city of San Francisco, the people had voted not to unload cargo from South Africa. They were supposed to be on an active campaign of divestment. So that's my little part of my story of what happened with the campaign. And I was very proud of taking that rest until just a few years ago, whenever I got stopped by the police, and it comes up assault on a police officer, they for that. And automatically the cops were like thinking they know
They
you
always
can get shot in this charge.
same deal. They always put me in the cuffs in the back of the car. I got assault battery from getting made and beat up by the police and choked unconsciousness down in Santa Cruz for the PG Diablo Canyon.
Okay, well, I think we're going to get Dave here, and I want to do about 5 to 10 more minutes of a live stream here, and because I want to go hang out with all these wonderful people at the party. But let me go find Dave and see if I can get him to talk, and you guys can keep the live stream going. I'm going to grab Dave, okay? Is that cool?
Good luck if you can get him, because he's, it's
Okay, well, if we can't get him, I guess no big deal.
it's his party,
Yeah, well, I asked him if he wanted to. I'm thinking about maybe we should just,
I'm ready to go, guys. I just wanted to have a nice little program.
You can try and grab them.
Okay, let's see if I can get them. If I can't, it's not a big deal.
Okay.
I just wanted to do a few minutes of a live stream here, so people in other places know what we're up to, and it's always good. I like to do live streaming in situations other than protests. I like to keep, because people aren't their real selves, and I want people to be more genuine, and so, sometimes it's good to go to parties, and, we were at Dennis Brown's house last week, and we got a live stream going with him, and I've been exploring all new and different ways of live streaming and actually making the whole medium work for us. So, and human, you can go point your cameras at each other maybe, or something, but I'll be right back. Let me go grab them.
That's a ridiculous thing.
Yeah, talk, Jim. We've got plenty to talk about.
Yeah.
You're a wise man,
Sure.
Putting you on the spot a little bit there.
Yeah, a little bit, but that's okay.
Yeah, I'm taking this one too. We gotta double down. All eyes on Jim right now.
Come up with news stories. Oh, here's David.
Oh, David made it. Oh, we got him. All right. Yes, it's a little hard to hear over the party, so we're gonna have to make sure we keep the cameras closed. And if you could speak up, Jim, that would be tremendous.
Sure. I feel awkward, of course, speaking loud in this party, but okay. Well, here he is, David.
All right.
This is kind of informal.
So you jump in. You're discussing
We're just borrowing Dave for a couple
campaign
minutes.
against apartheid stuff and
We're talking
that
about
era.
his birthday.
How did you first hear about the
I do a lot of
campaign
organizing.
against apartheid and come over to UC Berkeley?
I mean, the campaign against apartheid was a small, feisty group of organizers, Billy Nesson, a bunch of other folks whose names I can't remember as clearly, but they basically started up a campaign. There had been one at the UC system, I believe, in the late 70s, but they started one in I think 85. And they were the first campus that really did sort of uncompromising, small group, just doing confrontational actions around campus. And they did it for about 6 months, and it didn't. And then at a certain point, it just sparked and caught people's imagination and blew up and spread to campuses all over the country. So it was, probably the biggest student movement that I'd witnessed in my lifetime. I was a little kid during the anti-Vietnam War movement, but it was a mass movement. I used to go to nonviolent direct action trainings at Biko Plaza, which is what Sproul Plaza was renamed at. That would be occupied overnight, sometimes by 1,000 students staying throughout the night, having mass meetings, and so they catalyzed, and of course the big inspiration was the South African freedom movement. So people were calling out the contradictions of the university, demanding they divest, and then engaging in confrontational direct action and being smart about it to the point where they forced the UC regents to divest and also catalyze the mass student movement around the country that for a lot of folks was their introduction to direct action, confrontation, and international solidarity, and it was sort of one of those moments where movements around the world were acting together as they've done, around world justice and Occupy and other things.
Dave, do you want to maybe talk a little bit about, obviously this is a birthday celebration for you.
Yeah, man, congratulations. Happy birthday to our lovely friend Dave here. He looks great, 50 years old, man. You look fantastic, my friend.
And, and also, obviously Mandela died not too long ago. Do you want to talk a little bit about, now you're getting older, you've been obviously an activist since the time of apartheid, as an anti-apartheid activist subsequently. What's it like now looking back on the last few decades of activism, especially given the context with you getting older and the passing of a great, icon in terms of freedom for people?
I mean, it's a good way to live, to fight. I've seen a bunch of victories, but we still actually haven't managed to uproot the system at the root of it all. I thought that was actually Jim and Clark's job.
Yeah, we're still working on it.
I was just
I'm
going
still
to make
making
pretty
revolution.
stuff for it. Could you get on it?
Yeah, we're thinking about outsourcing it to China.
But so we just wanted to do a little homage to Nelson Mandela tonight. I kind of like was going to do it at home by myself, but you know, like I'm trying not to be so egotistical about things, so I wanted to include people that were there. And when you mentioned when you were on your Facebook page, it came to me that you were part of the campaign against apartheid, and I just wanted to bring that up. And this thing came together really organically, like really simply. It wasn't like I had to change the will make this thing happen. And when you said it was your birthday, that was a really great. And thank you for including me in on your, all your family and all your people that you have here. I appreciate it very much.
Running in the streets with you for about 30 years.
Yeah, 30 years now. Yeah, we've been running the streets, and we did. On the last action, I think that I covered Human and I was the 360 action when we were at the.
350.
Yeah, we were at the 350. I'm sorry.
No, it has gone up.
Yeah,
They just haven't changed their name yet.
right.
We're going full circle now, right?
Yeah. So we did a lot of good stuff together, and I just wanted to do a few minutes on a live stream and just to get people. We actually have a worldwide network of anarchists and live streamers and media people that we're working with, and this is kind of like a way of getting us a little more activated and try to work together more, because now we have Patty in Los Angeles that's working with us, and Dee Shanger in Toronto. He operates. He's like the world's foremost live stream theorist, experimental filmmaker, and so we're bringing the whole world together now.
Don't forget about Portland,
Right,
Rise
Portland
PDX
with
out of
Rise
Portland,
PDX.
and UK watching out of the
Right,
UK.
UK watching out of London. And so now we have this nice network, and we can get people online and talk about what they're doing, and this is we're making these technological tools available to people around the world. We're going to, we have show people how to build Hackintoshes, which are dual boot Hackintoshes, which are dual boot operating systems that are secure from the NSA. We're providing cams, we're providing hotspots, and we're providing expertise and technical, And then in January, I'll be releasing software that we have our own platform to build off of that's not commercial, that we don't have to worry about making money, because I'm the one that wrote it and I'm giving it, and I'm giving it away, So, because I really believe in this medium. This is like the future. This is now, right? This is not the future, right? This is like something that we can put into anybody's hands and have a network of 2 million people online watching at any one time, right? So basically, I'm trying to give people the power out in your community, wherever you're from, Washington, New York, Florida, wherever you are in the world, that all this stuff is accomplished and it's possible now. So I'd like to thank everybody for watching, and thank you for Jim and David for being such a gracious host here.
Thanks for your good work.
Right, and we love everybody, and we'll be back again here in a couple of days. Just keep an eye out.
All right.
All right,
Shut
thanks a
it
lot.
down. Thanks everybody for watching.